Hey everybody, welcome back to the Woodruff Cast. Today I want to do something that I really don't want to do. Have you ever been in a position like that with your job or whatever creative project you're working on, and then it's like necessity or maybe the devil is like driving you forward? I'm gonna take a look at Kristi Noem, she's the head of well, I call her the Ice Queen. Um, she's the head of, is it Homeland Security? I can't remember. I think I spend so much time trying to eject her and the news related to her. I need it like out, like the getting it out like a huge constipated shit that uh one takes and then celebrates the relief. But then of course every day she's back. She's back. I've got her chart down below of no birth time. And of course, this being a MAGAite, uh even the birth details are questionable to me, although I'm going to assume because she's been in public office for a while that there would be an accurate birth time or birth date and year. So let's try to look at her chart without the foreknowledge of what she's about. And she's been on the crazy meter going back pre the election of MAGA version 2.0. And I know you all remember the book she put out, killing the dog, killing the goat, eating the dog, eating the cats. Um, just horrid, despicable type behavior to be, exaggerating and calling attention to, thinking that this is feeding meat to the base, the MAGItes that do relish in sadistic behavior, cruelty, everything that connotes. There's something very ill in the nation now. And I have to say, I know it in my bones because the MAGA behavior and the MAGA reactions elicit the same type of reaction within me, but on the other side of the coin. So I'm constantly having to monitor my hatred and disgust. And if you ever talk to MAGAites, you know that what we're feeling, and I'll use that as an inclusive way, assuming that many of my subscribers and listeners are left-leaning or independents or socialists or, some kind of new hybrid of Democrat, which I'm hoping you are because the existing Democratic Party is so fucked up, so unhinged, so rudderless right now. I don't know what is conjuring within the Democrats, but they better get their fucking shit together ASAP. Anyway, so the Ice Barbie, Kristi Noem, I have the chart up below, trying to get back on track here, trying to look at this as an initial pass of I don't know anything about this person because people have written to me and said, well, you're piling up on people by looking at their chart, cherry picking negative things, highlighting that. And so, okay, let's look at this chart and I'm going to act like this person has come to me, they're a client, and here's some of the things I would highlight to them as far as my impressions of the chart. You can't miss the stellium. Remember, there is no birth time. So the midheaven, this is done for noon. So all of this is gathered up at the midheaven. We don't know where it falls by house system. Neptune, Sun, Jupiter, Mercury, all in Sagittarius. This is somebody that is compelled to be on the stage of life. Could be in the theater, could be in politics, could be a spiritual calling. This concentration of Sagittarius, this is a disseminator, this is a proselytizer, this is someone guided by that Sagittarian calling into the heights, and they see themselves as some kind of prophet, teacher, instructor, professor, somebody who sets examples for other people. When you've got Sun and Sag and then Jupiter right there with it, this, of course, compounds, doubles up, emphasizes, exacerbates the Sagittarian drive. All the fire signs are mythic in nature. They see themselves as immortal. My dad, Aries, he didn't realize he was dying until my brother took him in to the hospice. And he was in there one day, looked around, because it was kind of like an old folks' home hospice. And also, they had to carry my father out in a gurney from his home. He would not leave the house. And um, my brother got him there into this hospice, old folks' home type thing. And he took a look around and then was dead the next morning. This is an Aries for you. They don't recognize mortality. They don't recognize ordinariness. They're exempt. All of the fire signs, as I experience them, are exempt from the reality that you and I and the Virgos and the Taurus people and the water signs. I mean, the air signs are somewhere close to the fire signs needing reality checks. But the fire signs, God love them because they inspire and keep us all going for, whatever their cause is. Hopefully it's a good one and it's not throwing people in vans and exporting them to prisons in El Salvador. So, um, the craziness here, well, that's not a good way to say it. The Sagittarian ethos that this chart represents is doubly fired up by the square from Mars and Pisces. Now, here's where this gets really fucking wild with the Mars in Pisces squaring that collection of planets and lights in Sagittarius. Think about it. Now, the rub, and of course, squares give us the rub. This is why they're so galvanizing because when we have squares in the chart, we're caught up with them like a tar baby. It's like, I just want to do like all the Sagittarian go, 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 gooey, and then the Mars and Pisces is there. It's like, how are you impacting the environment? What are you doing for the underdog? How are you protecting the vulnerable? What sort of vitality are you bringing into this innate sense that you have that you are part of a bigger, larger world and universe? Remember, the Piscean function or style is a reminder that each of us each of us is part and parcel of a much larger whole, much larger set of cycles. We're just this one particular expression of it. And when Mars is there, that understanding has got to be implemented in some way, form, or fashion in the person's life, or they're rudderless, out of touch with the Mars. You've got Mars is in a certain sign. That sign is giving the flavor that and the style that that Mars prefers to work in. Again, forget all the shit about this sign rules that, it's in detriment here, it's in fall there. The signs, the planets and the signs are like organs in our body. They are operating, they are in harmony with the other parts of our body. The solar system is in harmony with itself and with the zodiac. There aren't spots where it's not working optimally. Just get out of that shit. Anyway, um, so here, the emphasis in this individual's chart, i.e., Kristi Noem, is preferring the Sagittarius side, right? The moon here in Taurus gives a preference for the comfortability emotionally is there for creating an image or approaching life in a way that seems very grounded, very pragmatic, very sensible. And yet there's this Sagittarian calling. So the person's like, oh, I've got this real basic uh Taurian sensitivity to my instincts, to the basic needs that I have as a person to have a secure life, be, healthy in my life, how I respond to the environment, how I respond to nature. But I've got this like otherworldly calling with all of this Sagittarian part of my nature, especially because the sun is there. The sun radiates heat, vitality, life. The moon picks up that light, absorbs that light, and then reflects it back to us in our day-to-day life. What's our home like? What are our habits like? What is our comfort zone? What kind of tribe have we come from that gives us a sense of a group or collective feeling that our sun is wanting to, step out of and become an individual, not related to the lunar tribe. So that this dilemma, or not dilemma, but this contrast is there. And again, it puts the Mars and Pisces in an odd position. Now I'm going to go into some of the shit that we know about Noem. And I've mentioned it already today, this shit that was in her book about there was a unruly dog. She took it out, shot it. There was a smelly, this is her word, smelly goat, I guess that was ornery. That too was taken out and slaughtered, by her, the Sag gal on the go, right? That unplugs completely from the Mars and Pisces. So where in the fuck is the Mars and Pisces showing up in this person's life? It's showing up now with the immigrants, those that are helpless, those that are vulnerable, those that are scared, those that are disenfranchised, all the things that a Mars and Pisces operating in an evolved way would somehow be sensitive to and assisting or helping or whatever. And Yes, there's immigrants that are criminals. Yes, there's immigrants that are here illegally. This is a fucking globe. It is not a country with a moat around it and electric fences and walls. So, the Mars and Pisces in this individual's chart, and I would say this, especially if a woman was coming to me with this chart, cis woman coming to me with this chart, I would ask her about the type of men she attracts, number one. And number two, how does she feel about vulnerability or those in her life that are vulnerable? And this is the thing, the Mars here, where it's blasted out by the Sagittarian emphasis, and then the desire of the moon in Taurus to have a sense of being secure, practical, and whatnot. You see, to a moon in Taurus individual, the Mars in Pisces again is gonna, it's like too weird. It's too going out there too much. So what people tend to do with parts of their chart is project them out onto other people, onto their significant others, their colleagues, or the culture they're in. In this case, the Mexicans, or everything that Noem is acting like this tough bitch, around like rounding them up and stuff. And this is as close as this person can get to having some kind of like friction with or contact with their Mars. Do you see what I'm saying? All right, so I don't want this to go on and on. So the last thing I'm going to bring up, and I talked about this if you watch the videos I did on Elon Musk. Interestingly enough, Gnome and Musk share a Saturn and Gemini opposite opipop that see, this is what happens when you get Saturn and Neptune together. Saturn in Gemini opposite Neptune in Sagittarius. Now, how do you see this yourself as novices or veteran astrologers? Two planets very much at odds with each other, in opposition. How does it get resolved? Well, what do you think? As I talked about with the Musk chart, this is generally speaking, this is the hallmark of an individual who considers themselves a visionary. Neptune's out there floating, doing, dissolving, unifying, melting. It's crazy woo-woo-ness that we love and also are discombobulated by. Saturn, on the other hand, is like, make it real. Get it real, bitch. It wants this otherworldliness brought down into the world. And that's great. The problem is if the person channeling this impulse is an imbecile, then they are going to have a mistaken type of Messiah complex or something of that ilk. So through the pipsqueak, very quickly atrophying brain of Kristi Noem, and I would imagine and I'm serious about this, I'm not being a cunt, amidst all of the Botox and the fillers and whatever else is stretching and pulling and bloating the face, this shit goes, people, I love this. People that get all this stuff done. I mean, i.e., I'm talking to you, Nicole Kidman. You're scaring the shit out of me. People that get all of this stuff done on their face, I love how they think it's just like localized and it's just staying there and not, the body is like systemic. This shit's moving around and floating through, and you've got this right up against your brain. I'm telling you, this stuff. And I saw Nicole Kidman the other day on a talk show thing, and she's becoming a dimwit. This is not a brain donor. So all of this ejections and poking and prodding and botulism injected into the triangle of sadness. Did you ever see that movie? Check it out. Very, very good. Anyway, so when an imbecile gets this messiah complex, this is tailor made for someone in the theater of MAGA version 2.0. This is all like crazy ass showbiz. I mean, three-fourths of the cabinet are all from fucking Fox News. We are no longer living in a reality that your grandparents would even recognize. Fuck, I'm not even a grandparent. I don't recognize it. This is like, this moment in history will be examined for like decades down, if there's even things like people studying history and it's not robots that are assimilating and digesting everything and then spitting out and telling people what reality is. Anyway, so this kind of messiah uh, complex put into, let's just say, a low grade, baseline brain is, on one hand, disastrous, as we're seeing, because all of this is butting up against the reality principle of our judicial system, which is really, we have laws because life is so fucking crazy and potentially bestial. So there's laws. But now we're slipping out of that and then into the crazy, into the cruelty, into the catastrophes. I love iteration. So this Saturn Neptune opposition is showing up in the worst way possible for us via the MAGA version 2.0 stagecraft. So, of course, Noem sees herself. Now, here I'm making conjectures. Noem sees herself really devoted to this cause. And the cosplay, COS, play, is it's like it's like young Sagittarian girl having Barbie moments, with her friends, dressing up as an ICE agent, dressing up as a pilot, dressing up as a warrior going, to the border and all that shit. I just want to know, like, who in the population buys this shit. Tell me what you think. Tell me, I want to hear your take, please, on the Saturn Neptune opposition here, right? Put that down below. I'm quickly going to look at transits. I'm just pulling this out of my ass right now. So hold on a minute. I just brought that chart up. So Saturn for her is moving out of this boom, 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 boom set of squares that it was making for the last 2 years or so for her, which, you saw the downbeat side of those squares after her book came out and the horrors that followed with, damage control as far as publicity went. I mean, it was just brutal. But then it also fit the moment because this is Trump being the ultimate victim and whiner. Somebody suffering something like that that's also in support of his cause. You know, he immediately slurped her up and then into the MAGA wheelhouse. Um, so the Saturn will move into conjunct Neptune in Aries, making a trine to her Sun Neptune conjunction. And interestingly, this is going to, as I see it, this is going to be like too much of a good thing. So, what in her sense of self would be seen or experienced as a kind of a carte blanche or a kind of validation for what's been happening, it might just push things over too far in the wrong direction. Because trines do set up a kind of flow and give a person a maybe a false sense of assurance. I don't know. I don't quite know how to read that yet till I see more of what's going on. Of course, the demon in the room for that set up of trines is the Saturn conjunction in Neptune opposing Pluto. Wouldn't want to be, on that end of the dining table when Pluto comes after Saturn and Neptune. Remember, the further out the planet, the more power those planets have over the planets below. I mean, that's just a stupid way of saying it, but you get so transcendent or whatever, from like Uranus and then boom, and then Neptune and boom, and then Pluto. And then Pluto's like the ultimate ring knot pass because nobody dies and then comes back and then tells us what's it about, what's happening. You can, live through Neptune, Uranus, and be sort of inculcate those lessons. But with Pluto, it's sort of like all bets are off. So the best position is a type of humility at the wonder and mystery of the bigger cycles within nature that ultimately call all the shots, which is something, unfortunately, my dad, as an example, had a hard time getting on board with. Okay, that's it. Comments below. Thanks for joining me. Paid subscribers, thank you so much. I just want to add, if you have a comp paid subscription from me, and some of you have had that, I don't know, a couple years, think about taking out a, paid subscription now. You've seen enough what I'm offering here, and if there's quality to it, I would appreciate that. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later.